This dance is our tapping dance. We do it at the beginning of our classes to warm up our bodies. The students can do it to themselves, or their support workers will do it to them. And this exercise is about proprioception. Proprioception is the ability to be aware of your body, its shape and its movement. So this dance is about getting our bodies ready and raising the awareness of our bodies in space before we start dancing. Yes!
Vicki, and Francis, Delson and Rachel. We, as Blink Dance Theatre company, we've been together for 10 years.
Next year. Can you believe it?
Dels, do you want to hold up your favourite thing about working at Blink? Teaching children.
And DJing. Nice. We do sometimes work with kids, don't we, Dels? So we work at your old school with lots and lots of different children. Really tiny ones. Any big ones? Yeah, lots of big ones too. And we love it, don't we? Yeah. And some of the children have
PMLD and autism.
Yeah, and some are wheelchair users, aren't they? What's your favourite thing about Blink?
My favourite thing about Blink? Party.
Parties. We do throw a good party, don't we?
So we're going to have, how many parties are we going to have?
Many parties as we want to.
Yeah.
At least 10.
At least 10.
Yeah.
My favourite thing about being in Blink is taking art that isn't patronising, that is well thought through, that is trend aware, that is inspirational, sensory, exciting, bespoke stuff to people who don't expect it, who don't usually engage with art, like people with complex needs and profound and multiple learning disabilities.
And my favourite thing about being Blink is having a little idea about something and then watching the journey of it become a reality. And I think we do that really well at Blink. Like, we all have quite out there ideas and we nearly always make it happen. And that's what I love about Blink.
Watch this space.
Yeah.
There's some quirky ass stuff coming up. Yeah?
Yay!
Yay!
So what's going on right now is Rachel is leading one of our favourite activities, which is called Magic Pen, which we borrowed and developed from the Miki Dance Theatre. You can hear they really love it, the students, and basically it's taken from intensive interaction where the pen is held and a drum roll happens and the pen comes very slowly towards a young person who then touches the pen and there's a reaction. And the reason that it works so well is it's helping young people to manage their arousal levels and to manage their excitement and be in control of it and then bring it down again. So there's really lot of excitement, there's a big communication, there's a communication and a choice to touch, and then there's a sort of like coming down of the excitement, I guess. So then what will happen next is the pen will spin, and depending on the young person, they will either come into the middle and be the leader and have a chance to lead, or if they're a non-verbal young person, they'll do some choosing between two different props. So yeah, that's what this activity is.
My name's Katie Midwell-Bates and I am the head of secondary and post-16 at Directors Art School. We've just experienced a fabulous workshop in these beautiful gardens and the sun has shone for us, which has been amazing. And we've had a really great workshop with Blink Dance. The students have absolutely loved it. They've been totally engaged the whole time. And you can see the students really communicating through eye contact and using their voices, vocalising, body language. Some of the dancing has been absolutely incredible and role modelling, and they've been copying. It's just been fabulous.
Hi Vicki, hi Francis.
Hi.
Where are we today?
My city, my ends.
Yeah, we're in Francis's Ends today. We're in White City Play project and it's their half term. We really love White City, don't we? We do a lot of work in White City. The young people here don't get loads of funding for their projects, so we felt like it was really important to prioritise them for the Welcomes Feeling Our Way. And yeah, we're just really excited to see how they respond to the consent robot, because I think that things have been hard for them during lockdown, and yeah, just be really nice to see how they respond. They've already been as we've been setting up, running around the hall with the props. They're really excited to go. So in about 5 minutes we're going to do our workshop.
Yes.
And I think they're going to love it.
Because I'm a teacher, so I have to teach kids in my own area. So I just want we can do more hard work in this workshop.
Nice. All right, let's go. Consent Robot was thinking about how challenging it is, particularly for some people on the autism spectrum, to contend with the constant changing rules, because personal space and spatial awareness can be quite tricky. So we wanted to make a really visual, almost obstruction to actually, I guess ask a question without asking the question, how do you say hello when you can't touch someone? But it's not really possible to say that to someone, but if they literally have a barrier, then they have to work that out physically. So yeah, that's where the idea for the costume came from. And then the sort of choosing came from this video that we were looking at, and this teacher in the pandemic, she created this really cool way for young people to consent to different greetings when they came into the classroom. So they would choose a bow or a dance or a fist bump, but it was really nice because it showed how the students were choosing, and then the teacher had to consent, and then if it was equal, they'd both sort of have that moment. The child felt they were seen, the teacher knew what the child needed, and then they were able to go in and start their day. So it's a bit of a combination of those ideas.
Yeah. And a lot of the young people we work with, particularly those who have PMLD, will experience a lot of practical touch. So from the moment they wake up, they'll be kind of handled and manipulated and taken through getting dressed, moving into their chair, moving out of their chair, maybe using hoists, and a lot of that touch is very practical and very necessary, but not necessarily creative, not necessarily intuitive, not gentle, not experimental or exploratory. And so I think for us in our work, especially with adults and young people and children with PMLD, it's actually a really important way to support them to experience the world and to feel cared for, looked after, to feel that they're having a different experience in the world, and one that is creative and one that is also led by them. And something we do in our work is not puppeting, so not not pulling people and getting them to dance or however we think that would be, but it's really like supporting. Can you move a bit, Francis? Really supporting that touch and supporting what they want to do and being led by their movement and their desires, but like that supportive like touch from underneath, rather than what we see in some places, which is like, come on, we're doing dance and it looks like this and and it's like that. So yeah, that's what I'd say about how important touch is to our work.
Hogdemic came first. We were not working in schools for a little while, like during the pandemic, and I guess we were trying to preempt like what would be different when we returned to school, and one of those things was not being able to touch, and a big part of our work is touching and creating like sensory experiences for people. And so before the pandemic, a lot of our planning was sort of like thinking about the music we were using and how we sort of work to make like sensory experiences with music, maybe like visual things. But since the pandemic, we started to think about touch and planning from a place which starts with touch. And I was thinking, okay, what's the one thing that is like the biggest no-no that we can't do anymore? And that was hugging. Because there was a long time where we weren't allowed to hug, we just had to do this. Hey. Hey. But I knew that the young people would be missing touch, missing hugging, and also that they wouldn't really, like this, they'd be missing hugging, and also that they wouldn't really understand why they couldn't hug. So I started planning all the sessions with my eyes closed so that I could think about the senses the most. And so I just created these massive arms. They're really, really long. They're really like quite firmly stuffed, so that the young people can get them right around them and like really squeeze them in. Part of the project with the Welcome is bringing some of that creativity and that stuff into the world, because I think like what were you saying earlier, rather than like totting up like the COVID rates, the cases, we want to be
totting up the hugs.
Yeah, totting up the hugs now that we can. So it's kind of like a good recovery.
100 new hugs a day.
Yeah, so we're going to be counting them up. So yeah, if you see us out and about, do join in at the hashtag Hugdemic.